hello again. I am back. Welcome to Roland's Reviews. We had a wonderful chat Saturday evening. All right, I will do the roll call momentarily. The usual suspects are currently filling up the chat room, so I know this will be a live chat. Okay. I tried my best to disseminate the information on Saturday, but God knows I was trying to contain all of the laughter. And I fought Florida and Chubbs and a few other usual suspects. Okay. Do me one small favor, folks, please, if you will. Go ahead and hit that little thumb. That is the like button, and that will help to possibly trigger the YouTube algorithm, and hopefully YouTube will share the video with even more people. If you have Facebook or other forms of social media, do us a favor. Share this stream out, folks, okay? It won't cost you one thin dime, okay? Um, and so I'll do the roll call momentarily. All right. Love you too, Tina. Thank you so much. Tina was behaving badly yesterday too. She made me laugh. So I'll do the best that I can if Tina and Florida and a few other people will behave. Um, as I said, this is very cathartic for me. Um, I know, from your comments, you tell me how much you enjoy it, but I also enjoy it. I love hearing, what your opinion is on the topics that we discuss. And I love sharing my opinion. And again, like Dr. Marilyn said on Saturday, we may have a difference of opinion, but what I love about this channel is that, we don't get upset. We have thick skin. We don't be like, oh, you don't agree with me. And, oh, now you just stop watching, stop, just disappear, unsubscribe, folks, it's really not that serious. We don't have groupthink here on this channel. That will be the other channel. Okay. So everyone is invited to share their opinion, and it's fine if it's different from mine, if it's different from Tina's and Florida's and Damon Lee and Chris and Laurie and Mare. So that's fine. We just have intelligent discussions, and I think we need to get back to that. Those people who are in my age range, the Generation Xers, that's what we're used to doing, not becoming upset if your opinion is different from mine and cutting off all contact. To me, that is childish, immature behavior, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm giving you an opinion now. All right, I'll go ahead and start um, with the roll call. All right. Florida, how you doing, love? Tina, of course, is here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Damon, hello. Welcome. Chris, welcome. Glad you're here. Mare, Laurie, glad you are here. We had a good time on Saturday. Gloria, how are you? Gloria, we understand, love. Cammie came in yesterday and she told me she had a lot of life events going on, but she says, don't worry, I'll catch up on the videos. And God knows she did. So I was trying to answer her comments last night. Life happens, folks. It does not say, can I? It just happens. And so we get it. We're just glad you drop in whenever you can. So it's always good to see you. Tina, this should not be as publicized as it is. I feel bad for both, right, Tina? Because of the race hustlers, the black and white race hustlers that want to make this about race. If you look at my title, and if you've been here on the channel for a while, I have talked about this on more than one video. So the title is The Karmelo Anthony Case, Enabling Parents and a Victim Mentality, Violent Teen Epidemic in the U.S. And again, conflict resolution. Uh, we definitely need to find a better way to handle disagreements. You've heard me talk about that. Now, again, I said some people may not agree with my stance, which is fine, um, on this subject matter. But as I was preparing for this live chat, I found another educator. So, when I find another educator, I'm like, God, this is what I've been saying. And she has seen, and I don't know how many years she's been in the classroom. Now, I've been in 27, right? Teaching high school. And a lot of what, I discuss on my channel, I tell you things I've seen, things I've witnessed, not what I've been told. And this is an issue. We see it all over schools, all over the US, right? Where teens are fighting and doing everything except what they are there to do. And that is a problem. All right. So tell me what you think about this. Um, where are we? Tina, you agree? Okay, thank you, Tina. And so that's just where we are. Monique, how you doing, love? And again, I don't feel bad if if you have a different feeling, if you've been here on the channel for a while, that is great. We Hey, welcome differences of opinion. That is not an issue, okay? All right. So let me start off by saying I have to do this, okay? Please, 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 not anyone who's here, but as I told you, sometimes once I end the live, people will come in and leave horrible comments. And I don't know why people have to denigrate someone's name. That's fine if you disagree with you know what we're saying here in the chat. We don't mind. We are not going to block you from the channel. We just ask that everyone is respectful, no name calling, if someone's opinion is different. And so that's all. Again, this is an older chat. We don't have time for nonsense. We just talk about subject matter. And I've mentioned this before, and I told you I would go into detail. I've already discussed the issue with conflict resolution. So don't even look at the fact that one boy is black and one boy is white. Conflict resolution is an issue. Now, a lot of people are saying, thank you, Gloria. Jeffrey, how you doing? Fishing Kid, how you doing? Those of you who are just joining the chat, hit the little thumb. It won't cost anything. Jeffrey, Fishing Kid, Gloria, share this out on your Facebook pages, please. Or if you have Truth Social, share it for me, please. It is much appreciated. Lisa, how you doing? This story is disgraceful. Truth bomb. Whatever happened to two fellas getting in a fist fight, then going to have a few beers? Lisa, exactly. Oh, okay, Jeffrey, great. And of course, and then I'm going to share another case with you where a white teenager stabbed a Hispanic young man and he died. So, everything is race. Look, look at, the two tiers of justice. Is everything perfect in this country? No, ma'am, no, sir, it is not. Do we still have areas that we need to work on? Yes, I've said that. See, people have selective hearing and then they jump in my comment section attacking me, and which is fine. I have a thick skin. I don't care until someone starts paying rocket mortgage. I don't care. But if that makes them feel strong, okay, enjoy. Lisa, don't need to bring a knife to a fist fight. Yeah. And then again, we still don't know all of the stories. And then I was on X. We know Twitter, I still call it Twitter. It's a cesspool. And they had some key, with AI is good, but it's scary. They had a picture that someone posted on their Twitter feed, and it was supposed to be Karmelo Anthony. It was not, holding guns and throwing gang signs. Say, see, look, see, and that's not even who he is. So again, people trying to, change the narrative. And that's a shame. Okay, if these two boys were of the same color, Tina, please say that again for the people in the back. If it were two black boys, this would not have made the evening news. I'm just saying. You know how the mainstream media is. They have to play it up. They have to keep stoking the flames, keep throwing gas on the fire, right? America is so racist. And if you missed our video from Saturday, you need to check it out. All these people, oh, America's so horrible, and they're fleeing the white racism and the white supremacy. And now they're crying and trying to get back to America, telling us how horrible it is, how they've been scammed from day one. So you don't realize how well you have it until you leave here. Thank you, Jeffrey. All right, so I have a video for you now. Again, this young lady is also an educator. Excuse me. She's an educator. So I was like, let me see. Anytime someone tells me they're a teacher, I'm like, let me see what because if they're an educator, they've probably, I'm sure, have had some similar experiences that I've had, right? Okay. Cammie, how you doing, love? Cammie, I responded to all of your comments. Cammie, if you will, dear, share this on your Facebook and Instagram pages, dear. Thank you. So I don't know how many years that this young lady has been an educator, but just listen to what she has to say. And then, of course, we're going to break it down and I'll give you my review. Here we go.
What is wrong with America today? I know that that's a big claim, but on this channel, I talk about mostly the problems that we're seeing in schools, but ultimately the problems that we're seeing in society as a whole, problems we're seeing with parenting, problems we're seeing with young people. And sadly, this case exemplifies everything. Now, in case you're not familiar with what happened, it's been reported that a student named Karmelo Anthony plunged a knife into the heart of another student named Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf then died in his twin brother's arms. There's been different details about what may have led up to these events, but the story that has been shared the most is that Karmelo Anthony went under a rival school's tent. He was approached by Austin Metcalf and asked to leave the tent. It's been said that Karmelo Anthony refused, and somewhere along the way, it sounds like a verbal altercation ensued. And at some point, Karmelo is alleged to say, touch me and see what happens, push me and see what happens. And he had his hand in the backpack, and at some point, he drives the knife into Austin Metcalf's heart. And again, this happened in the morning at a track meet with people everywhere. As horrific as this story is, the thing that has horrified me even more is people's reactions to this story. Very quickly, the killer, Karmelo Anthony, raised over $500,000. There were free Karmelo t-shirts made, free Karmelo hashtags made, and quickly, this young person was made into a hero. Very quickly, Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, expressed publicly that he forgives Karmelo Anthony and that he doesn't want this made into a racial issue. Yet Jeff Metcalf's family has been swatted 3 times. That's where people call in false allegations about a family so that the SWAT team surrounds that family house with weapons. It's a very scary and dangerous thing where people have lost their life. Well, that has happened to Jeff Metcalf, the father of the slain boy, the one who forgave Karmelo and has asked for there to be racial unity and reconciliation. I just utterly cannot believe what I have seen online. To make matters worse, Karmelo Anthony's family held a press conference, and Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, comes to the press conference in order to reconcile and pray with the family, and then he gets kicked out of.
So remember, and I think I did mention that. So he came to pray and reconcile the race hustler who has hijacked their family, the Carmelo Anthony's family, and who has an arrest record as long as Shaq's feet. All right. So we know they come out of the woodworks, folks. And that was a shame. And again, her take on this is, oh man, I love it. Lisa, I remember the young lady that was hit in the head with the baton by another girl. They are both black, but the NAACP took up for the girl doing the hitting. And again, no responsibility, no accountability, and you wonder why. Look at the title. And the enabling parents, their child doesn't do any wrong. How many times, I can't count that high, have I dealt with parents, and I'm sure this educator as well dealt with parents, well, who does, who won't believe what you're telling them. Well, my child doesn't do that at home. And then lots of times when you call parents, they're just, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take care of it. What they did, what you get fake outrage, and then nothing happens. So that's a problem, folks. Tina said Jasmine Crockett started the fundraiser. Okay, good. Monique, how you doing, dear? He should have attended the press conference. His son is there. Right. He was coming to pray. And the race hustler, I don't know where he came from. He has National Action Network. Sounds like a scam. So basically, he's Al Sharptongue Jr. Cammie, I hope the race hustler goes to prison because he has a very sketchy past. Cammie, right? Okay. And again, it's all about race. Go to any blue city, especially. You don't hear about what all the killings, they don't say anything. But let one person be black, one person be white. There you go. Jeffrey, that's like me with a dog catcher in Houston, a disaster. Yes. Okay. And again, he was not coming to cause problems. So who drove the wedge here? The race hustler. The race hustler. And then on the other side, with the Metcalfs, and remember, I did a video. What's his name? The white supremacist had a meeting, had a little rally in Houston. It was not successful. People are sick and tired of the divisiveness. And if you remember, I did the Cammie. I don't know if you caught that video. He was on the phone. He was on the phone with Austin Metcalf's father because this white supremacist had a picture of Austin Metcalf up on his website. So again, he came from up under a rock, just like the other race hustler, right? Trying to act like, oh, this is horrible. Black people are doing all these horrible things to white people, and nothing happens to. So again, it's a come up. It's trying to get a bag of money. That's all it is. Cammie, I wonder what Jasmine Crockett's end goal is because she came out of nowhere. Cammie, you missed those videos too, love. I'll have to, yeah. She is the new face of the Democratic Party. They're using her to try and bring Black Americans back onto the Democratic plantation. That's why they have her, even though she is not from an impoverished neighborhood or community. They have her out here talking like she's from the hood, and she's not. I did 2 or 3 videos on her, and I'll do some more in the future. Trust me. I'm sick of having to keep fighting these demons. Tina, we have to fight them every day, don't we? Bill ABC TV with Dims, it's always about race. Yes. How you doing, Morgan? Morgan's back. How you doing, dear? Glad you're here. Hit the like button. Morgan, do me a favor. Morgan's a former student. Share this on your Facebook page, love. Thank you, dear. I'll give you an A. See if I can go back and change your grade. Glad you're here, dear. Here we go.
of the press conference, and Dominic Alexander, the president of the Next Generation Action Network, proceeds to vilify the father. And the family is essentially made into the victim. The family of the son who committed the crime is made to look like the victim in this situation. They're complaining about people saying mean things to them after what their son did. Karmelo is referred to as our baby, our boy, by Dominic Alexander.
Yeah, remember, he personalizes. Oh, this is our baby, our boy. Dominic Alexander, again, you look him up. His rap sheet is as long as Shaq's feet. And so where this guy came from, and he sounds about like the super mayor. He definitely needs to take an English refresher course. Chicago Hood, how you doing? We realize you're working, dear. We're glad you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Morgan. Here we go.
Focus of the whole press conference is on justice for Karmelo, the one who took somebody else's life.
Sound familiar? Remember with the George Floyd? So, what do the lunatic loonies do? They change the perpetrator into the victim. So they reverse the roles. This is what they've been doing for years. Yes, Monique, the woke culture has definitely divided the races. We're glad you're here, Global Logistic. Here we go.
And Dominic Alexander proceeds to make this whole thing into a racial issue and talk about being a Black man in America and call Jeff Metcalf disrespectful for wanting to come and reconcile and make peace with the family. Dominic Alexander also proceeds to blame shift everyone and everything except for Karmelo. He literally is upset with the school district for expelling the student.
Okay, I don't know if you were aware of that. The race hustler got upset with the school district. Did you know that? Because they expelled him. And now I was even hearing they were saying the knife belonged to one of the track coaches. So who knows all of, the intricate details. Jeffrey Lynn had to bring it up. George Floyd, Jeffrey, because Jeffrey, look at it. It's the same process, right? Straight from the Dems playbook. Oh my God. So it's identical. All right, here we go.
Who plunged a knife into the heart of another student at a school track meet. And Dominic Alexander's qualm is with the school district. He then proceeds to complain about the rain and why the school district didn't stop the track meet for drizzle.
Oh, okay. So have you heard this? I don't know if you were aware of this. He also became angry, saying the school district should have canceled the track meet because it was drizzling rain. So if they had done that, then Austin Metcalf would still be with us. So again, I don't make this stuff up. Look at it. How you doing, Chubbs? He's making all kinds of excuses, and there's no, we're sorry that this happened. But none of that. They're just straight, that Karmelo's the victim. And again, both families have been affected. Same game, right, Jeff?
Could not make this up if I tried. And the focus of the whole press conference is getting justice for Karmelo. There's just no words. It's hard to put into words how upsetting this is. To make matters more complicated, Karmelo only spent 12 days in jail. His $1 million bond was reduced to $250,000. It's been alleged that a rapper instantly paid for that bail. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but for sure the family has gotten $500,000 or more out of this situation. And my understanding is that oftentimes that money is returned to the family after the trial, regardless of the outcome. So it goes without saying that right now in America, somebody can do something terrible and become famous and supported and get money and somehow be the victim. And as you guys already know, these are the problems that teachers are seeing in schools: the lack of discipline, the lack of accountability, kids being able to do terrible things and still be considered the victim. And in this culture and society that we live in, the people that call out the wrongdoing are called the perpetrators. Anybody that says that something is wrong is accused of being authoritarian or racist.
Okay, how many times? If you've heard me say that, mention that before, type a 1 in the comment section. I have been in education, like I said, 27 years. And with the woke culture, if a white administrator, a white teacher says something to a black student, they're saying it to them because they're racist, not because they did something wrong. You understand where you see where we're going with this? So this is another. So you've heard me say it. I wanted you to hear another educator say it as well. Thank you. I see the one. Yes. Darla said bail money isn't returned. Thank you. Tina said, Lord have mercy. One big money grab. Yes. And so again, when you have no accountability and you have enabling parents, what do you expect? Gloria says, I pray that Karmelo will come out of this as innocent. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Mayor, both the young men are reflections of their fathers. That should say plenty, right, Mayor? Okay, you're right. But let me play some more of this because she is telling it. This is what we deal with in the school system on a daily basis. And both families will be affected with this the rest of their lives. Let me continue.
Or fill in the blank of the words that are chosen. Our culture and our society is so upside down right now. And we just have to consistently ask ourselves the question, what are we teaching to kids? What do you think young people are learning by watching this happen? And by no means is this only a Black crime issue. When Luigi committed the crime, he became famous overnight. And I was horrified by that too, that he was made into a hero and celebrated and called great things. So we have
all right, let me get rid of the commercial. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section, folks.
This on our hands, and it's playing out in school, it's playing out in culture, it's playing out in society, and people need to speak clearly that this is wrong. We have a generation of people that are being raised without any accountability, and I really don't like to continue to bring up the racial issue, but as a teacher that 7 out of 8 years worked predominantly with students of color, this was something I saw all the time, and I really tried to raise the alarm. So
Gloria said Karmelo was protecting himself. Okay. Darla said, my dad owned a bail bonding company for 20 plus years, and it was not like Dog the Bounty. Darla, okay. All right, I'll continue. So listen, like I said, she's telling about her own personal experiences, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can relate.
Black students are infantilized, and it is the soft bigotry of low expectations. They're given excuses for terrible behavior. Allegedly, Karmelo's excuse for plunging a knife into the heart of another student was that he touched me. And I can't begin to tell you how many times I've tried to talk to parents and let them know that that isn't an excuse. Sadly, many young people today have no conflict resolution skills. They're taught to fight. They're taught if one person touches you, you better double it. They say if they push you, make sure they don't get up from the fight. And this is such a prevalent mentality that I've seen in all races. And I've had kids literally tell me, my mom or my dad said, if somebody touches me, you better do something about it. This is not a good thing to be teaching kids. There are so many different outcomes that could have happened that day. Some people say Karmelo went under the tent because it was raining and he wanted to be dry. Let's say that that was the case. If people came up to him and said, hey, this is our tent, you're not supposed to be under here. There was so many options. I'm sure if he smiled and was polite and said, hey, it's raining. Do you mind if I sit under here? I'm just trying to be dry. There would have been a different outcome. If he would have said, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I was just trying to get out of the rain. I'll go ahead and move. There would have been a different outcome. Even if the people that asked him to get out from under the tent that he wasn't supposed to be under were rude, we need to teach our kids how to deal with rude people in a way.
And that's what I said. Did you hear that, folks? I try to teach my students that dealing with rude people in this life, just keep living. You will deal with rude people. Sharon, how you doing, love? Darla said stabbing someone over words. Okay, coward. Tijuana, I'm late. Tijuana, that's okay, dear. We're having a good discussion here. Lisa, why did he feel the need to bring that kind of knife to the track meet? So, and then Lisa, again, I heard, now there's so many swirling stories. I heard one of the videos I watched yesterday said it was the track coach's knife. Who knows? But again, with conflict resolution, uh, what she's saying is what I try to tell students. I'm just saying, sometimes it's the way we say things. But what she's saying, I agree with. Sometimes it's not going to hurt, to say, "Hey, you're in the wrong." It's how things are said, and then people become so defensive. Um, I'll continue.
Somebody else going home in a casket. Sadly, there was another student that was interviewed that mentioned that Karmelo had been in fights before. And this to me comes back to an issue of parenting. And naturally, I don't know Karmelo's family, how he was raised. But the thing that I really like to tell people, parents, administrators, anybody that will listen, is if you give strong consequences to people when they're young, to your kids when they're young, then the idea is that they're going to learn and they're not going to be doing these huge actions and thinking it's okay. But the biggest battle that I've fought in schools and with parents is that parents these days don't even want to see their kid held out of recess. Parents these days and schools don't even want kids to get zeros on their assignments.
No lies were detected in that last statement. What she's saying, that's something we have to deal with, right? In today's modern public education. Gloria said, I carry a knife and pepper spray as an adult. Gloria, I carry something a lot stronger than that, dear. But yeah, we have to protect ourselves, okay? Jeffrey, God bless you. Roland, Lynn, I love that you keep your students, you teach them going the right way. Jeffrey, I tell them, especially students who get into fights, when they come back, and it's usually students, that aren't in my classes, but I have a relationship with them. I'm like, why? Well, he said this or she said that. Who cares? Conflict resolution. It's not that serious. Tijuana Border Jumper. I just came from a channel that posed some good questions. Was Mr. Anthony even there for the meet? What was he wearing? We really need, Tijuana brings up a good point. Yeah, we're still trying to find out. We don't know all of the information, but just the like I said, when I ran across her channel, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I say all the time in reference to student accountability, parents who enable their child. Yeah. Thank you, Gloria. Here we go.
So essentially, we have kids that are growing up with no understanding of cause and effect, and it's bleeding over into the law. And this is a crisis. And the thing that really hurts me is seeing so many young Black children and teenagers and young people being given a pass for violence, being given a pass for a lack of respecting authority and insubordination.
Yeah, and they have 1,001 excuses as to why they don't have to respect authority. So again, all right, in the school system. That's why you've heard me say this before. Every time I hear someone say, that the school system is creating the pipeline from the school to the jail. No, ma'am, no, sir. I have not created, you will not put that on me. That started when that parent did not raise that child properly. Someone tell me I'm wrong. If you're doing what you need to do as a parent, right? We won't have all these problems. I do not create a pipeline. And then when I started teaching 27 years ago, what have we been told? The demographic that gets suspended the most are Black males, and after Black males, Black females. Folks, that's a parenting issue. I am sick and tired of people blaming the school system. That's a parenting issue. I could go over, thank you, Monique. I could give you several scenarios that I have seen, not what I've been told, what I have seen with these two eyeballs, what I have heard with these two ears. Okay. One that really sticks out for me, and there are many over my 27-year career, is when a white male principal was in his office talking to a Black mother and her daughter, right? Now, first of all, if we had to call your parent up to the school, you've done something wrong. Can I get an amen? Okay. Now, again, bad parenting. The daughter got ready to, explain what happened. Her mother, now this is bad parenting 101. Someone tell me I'm wrong. Her mother told her to, nope, just be quiet. He's white. You're black. You can't win. That is bad parenting. That same child. So you've ingrained that in that child's brain. That's why when the police pulls them over, they don't respect, not all, just some. The respect issue, they don't respect authority. They weren't required to respect authority in the schools. Someone tell me I'm wrong. Okay. And so they go out there, play those same games with the police officers. They get shot, tased, whatever. Everyone's an upheaval. Oh, that child. Come back and talk to the teachers, ma'am, sir. We'll tell you about that sweet child. Not all, but I am saying some. Some of these people that the media, they were just like they're doing with this illegal that I did the video on. He's father of the year. No, I showed you his rap sheet. I told you, Trump told you he's an MS-13 gang member. That's what they do. They do the same thing with these kids who are not held accountable. They don't have to respect authority. They just do what they want. And if a white administrator or a white teacher says something to a black student, they're saying it to them because they're black and they're racist. That is wrong. That is bad parenting. Period. Gloria, the judge saw the evidence. She sent Karmelo home for now. Okay, Gloria, good point. And these are the same kids that are going to have problems when they get into a work environment. They can't handle being told no. Darla said it. Parents seem to want to dump all responsibility of the child upbringing on teachers. All this started in the 70s. Thank you, Cammie. Yes, true. That did start near the 70s when I was in school. Okay, Jeffrey, thank you. Tijuana, if my parents got called to the school, it was not good when we got home. I'll leave it at that. Oh, Tijuana, I know what you're talking about. And so as I look at a lot of these cases, folks, situations that happen with black teenagers or whatever and officers, again, the first thing that enters my mind is, God, if I could only go back and talk to their teachers. Because I know what I've witnessed. Some of the same smart mouth children, now not just black, there's Hispanic, white, some of those same smart mouth children, right, are incarcerated now. And I don't care. I don't want to hear about, well, they were going through this, that, and the third. Don't care. They acted like that when they were in school, ma'am, sir. They sure did. Darla, I watch a lot of body cam videos. There's a sense of entitlement that is off the charts. Black, white, young. Oh, Darla gets it. Yeah. It's in, and Darla, I see it firsthand as an educator. Right, Darla? And so I'm just saying, I agree with what she's saying. And then they changed the rules in public school education where you can't. So again, as I told you, when I started teaching back 27 years ago, I told you, the black males are the most suspended. So then they started accusing, and they're still doing that, accusing the schools of discriminating against black males and black females. Truth bomb. There you go. If I showed you the statistics from my years of teaching, folks, all teachers of all races are busy. All administrators of all races are busy. They do not have time to pick on black children. We don't have that kind of time, okay? We don't. Especially when you're at a larger school like I am. okay, with over 2,000 students. Who has that kind of time? Let me know so I can have some of that time. Cami, it's very clear gentle parenting and focusing heavily on child's feelings is destroying the fabric of society. We might have to go back to the belt. Yes. Yes, Cami, good point. And even, a lot of things I say, students, you can't say that. Everything hurts their feelings. They're soft. And some of the males, I said, you're not going to make it. That hurt your feelings. If you look at the way they come dress. Now, as I tell students, yes, I'm teaching you my curriculum. I'm also trying to prepare you for the future. You don't go to work, right, with rags all over your head, right? You're not supposed to go to work late. Again, you're supposed to speak in a proper manner, make eye contact. So I said, I'm teaching you about life. I'm trying to prepare you so when you leave here, because I think I told some of you, remember, I help students get jobs as well. And so I also meet with employers and I find out what students are doing wrong and how we can change that narrative. Jeffrey, my butt got tore up when I was in school. I'm still here doing good. Jeffrey, thank goodness. Diane, hello, Rollers. Unfortunately, mental health is out of control in this country we live in today, and nothing will improve until we address this problem seriously. Yeah, Diane, and you're right. And you have a lot of people who need help. They never receive the help, and then they have children, so they're messed up, and the children are messed up. Darla said her cat's helping her type, so she has a few typos. Oh my God, poor kitty. All right, darling, there's some kitty cats for you. Tell Kitty to go enroll in an English class. I'll help Kitty. Don't worry, Darla. So let me finish. Let me play this, folks.
Nation in schools and with store workers and principals and police. It's been horrifying to me to read the comments of people defending Karmelo's actions. And I've seen white people do it and Black people do it in comment sections. Oh, yeah. And people think that being anti-racist means not having consequences when somebody is wrong. And I have to tell you, it is not racist to hold people accountable. It is not racist to give consequences when somebody does the wrong thing. In fact, that is love. Boundaries are love. Discipline is loving. And when we don't have boundaries and discipline in society, in schools, in the home, we eventually get anarchy. And that's where everybody does whatever they feel like doing to whoever they feel like doing it to, and they believe they're justified. Some people might agree with me, but I do not think Karmelo Anthony's.
All right, what are your thoughts, folks? Let me get rid of the commercial.
Bail should have been lowered from $1 million. In fact, I don't even think it should have been offered. I think he should be in jail right now. Again, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think his family should have allowed him to be bailed out for what he did. There has to be consequences. And as much as you love your family member, that can't supersede right from wrong. One of the saddest things about that press conference, aside from the grieving father being kicked out and villainized, is the fact that there was so little acknowledgement of the loss of life. One line out of approximately 30 minutes was a sort of condolence from the mother, but it was said in such a passive way that if somebody didn't know the details and the circumstances, they would have no idea that it was her son that was responsible. I don't think there should have been a press conference for Karmelo's family at all, but if there was, the very first thing that should have come out of everybody's mouth is, I am so sorry for what my son did. I am so sorry that your son isn't here anymore. But instead, we heard the family's representative just complaining about how he is a victim and the family is a victim. Well, let me remind you guys of something. I remember a time long, long ago where you taught your kids not to shame the family name. People would say it all the time. Yeah. They would say, don't bring shame to this family for what you've done. Now we have a family whose son has brought shame to the family and they're feeling sorry for themselves. I just don't understand it. It's so twisted. I am all about having compassion. I am all for forgiveness and redemption, but not without consequences and not without accountability. People can turn their lives around in prison. People can apologize from prison. But the way this case has been handled so far is horrifying. And I'm just going to say it doesn't do the Black community any favors. Two wrongs don't make a right. I have seen people saying the most insane things. I've heard people saying that slavery is what killed Austin Metcalf. I have no words. One of the biggest dangers for people is to become what they hate. And that is a really disturbing trend that I'm seeing amongst people here in America. They talk about injustice, yet feel free to commit injustice. That doesn't balance the scales. That doesn't cancel it out. I remember how Martin Luther King Jr. said that the dream of his life was for people to be known by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And I feel like that sentiment is completely gone now. People are judged solely as being good or bad based on the color of their skin. And I thought we were supposed to be against that. One definition of racism is a belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. That can go either direction. And when people online are saying that Austin Metcalf got what he deserved for being white, that is racism. And any race, any color, any ethnicity can be racist, contrary to what modern people would say. And my hope is that social media is distorting the reality of what the average person thinks in America, because sometimes insane opinions go viral. So I'm hoping well over 90% of people in America would see this case and not side with Karmelo Anthony and say that what he did was right. But if even 10% of Americans think it's right, we're in trouble. So it's got to be up to parents and leaders and celebrities to set the record straight and say, no, we don't condone this. No, this standard is not, if you touch me, you get a knife to the heart and it's fine. No, we don't make heroes out of people that take other people's lives. It's the only way to get through this. So I don't know what else to say in this video other than I'm just horrified by what I've seen. I'm horrified by it. And if you have a kid, please talk to them. You'd be surprised about what your kids are taking in on social media. And it's very apparent that morals and values are in big trouble in this country right now. So please talk to your kids. Please don't be bullied by somebody calling you racist. I know people will call me racist for this video. It's happened already. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And it doesn't matter the color of the person that is perpetuating right from wrong. And we've got to stick with that. So
yeah, and I said when I talked about this topic before, we need to pray for both families. How you doing, Laurie? Gloria said, okay, I don't agree with her at all. Okay, Gloria. She gave her opinion. Okay, shame. You are delusional. Okay, she sounds like a bootlicker. Okay, Gloria. And so, yeah, you watch videos and you say, okay, that's a good point. That doesn't mean you agree with everything that someone says, but she had some very valid points. Like I said, when you I think about what we deal with and how we are blamed for a lot of things that happen in society. And I told you, I refuse to accept the blame because no, let me see. Where are we here? Tijuana border jumper. Why can't women like her be in Congress instead of people like Mad Maxine Waters, Jasmine Crockfuller? Tijuana, that's a new name for Jasmine. I like that one. Cammie, unpopular opinion. Barack Obama brought back racism to help him out, and the progressive liberals out to shore up future votes so his so-called best president ever legacy can go on. Okay, Cammie, good point. All right. And so as I'm sharing this, let me see. I have, and everyone, if you've been here for a while, I follow Dr. Thomas Sowell. Gloria, yes, that's what I've been saying. It stems from the home. Gloria said, that's the problem. We're not there for our children. No, you're right. Has Sharpton come out yet? Sharpton, you already know what he said. And, he's still working on the boycott. So, all right, here we go. So I wanted to share what Thomas Sowell. So again, if you look at the title, and again, I say we pray for both of the families. there's wrong and right to go around for everyone, right? But again, the victimhood mentality, which is what everything that happens when there's a black person involved and a white person involved. Okay, that's what we go back to, right? Gotta make you a victim. All right, I think I have that here. So let's go ahead and get that going.
Mercy of history, society, or the most dangerous thing you can do to any group of people is convince them that their failures are never their fault.
Did you hear that, folks? I don't know why. I wish Trump or someone would tell you how. I wish Dr. Thomas Sowell would have been utilized. He's like 90s, early 90s now. It's not too late, but still, everything he says, OMG, I love it. Here you go.
That they are forever at the mercy of history, society, or some external enemy. This is what the so-called black leaders and their allies on the left have done for decades, and it has kept Black America in a perpetual state of stagnation. Victimhood culture is not just unproductive, it is crippling. It removes any sense of agency, personal responsibility, or the drive to succeed. Worse still, it creates a class of grifters, politicians, activists, and organizations who profit from keeping Black Americans in a state of grievance. Take Black Lives Matter as an example. This is an organization that raised over $90 million in 2020 alone. Where did that money go? Into buying luxury mansions for the movement's leaders. Did any of it go into Black communities suffering from crime and poverty? No, because BLM was never about improving Black lives. It was about enriching its founders while keeping the racial grievance industry alive. And this is not new. The so-called...
And people that don't realize there is a racial grievance industry. We've talked about it several times here. We talked about the poverty pimps, right? Al Sharptongue and so many others I could name.
Black leadership in America has been running this racket for decades. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton made entire careers out of racial activism, shaking down corporations and politicians while doing nothing to actually improve the lives of Black Americans. The irony is that these same people who claim to be fighting for Black lives are completely indifferent to the biggest threat facing Black Americans, Black on net crime. Let's talk about numbers. In 2020, fewer than 20 unarmed Black men were shot and killed by police in the entire country. Meanwhile, over 7,000 Black people were murdered, almost all by other Black people.
Okay, did you hear that number, folks? Less than 20 Black males killed by the police, over 7,000 Black males killed by other Black people. Not a word was said, but Black Lives Matter, right? Oh, what a joke. Here you go.
People. That's nearly 400 times the number of police killings. Yet the media, the activists, and the politicians focus on the rare instances of police shootings as if that is the defining crisis of Black life in America. Think about that absurdity for a moment. You have a population where over 90% of homicides are committed by members of the same race. And yet the narrative we hear is that the biggest threat to Black people is white police officers. It's nonsense. And it's dangerous nonsense because it leads to policies like defunding the police that make crime even worse in Black neighborhoods. You do not see marches when a Black child is caught in the crossfire of gang violence. You do not see corporations donating billions when a Black man is killed in a drive-by shooting. Why? Because there is no political leverage to be gained from addressing those issues. There is no financial incentive. One of the most persistent and damaging lies of our time is the idea that Black people are struggling today because of slavery. If that were true, then other groups who face similar or worse oppression should also be at the bottom of society, but they are not. The Irish came to America as indentured servants, treated as subhuman, forced to work in brutal conditions and discriminated against for generations. They rose. The Jews faced thousands of years of persecution culminating in the Holocaust, where 6 million were exterminated. They rose. The Chinese immigrants who built America's railroads were treated as disposable labor, paid next to nothing, and barred from integrating into society. They rose. The Japanese Americans were thrown into internment camps during World War II. They rose. The difference is not historical oppression, it is culture. These groups prioritized education, family structure, and economic advancement. They did not waste time blaming their past. They did not demand government intervention or reparations. They focused on self-improvement, discipline, and values that lead to success. What's truly ironic is that Black Americans were making enormous economic progress in the early 20th century. Before the rise of the welfare state, in 1960, 78% of Black children were raised in two-parent homes. Today, that number is under 30%. What changed? It wasn't slavery, it wasn't Jim Crow.
Yep.
It was the government stepping in and replacing fathers with welfare checks.
Yep.
The same government that claims to be helping Black people has done more damage than any plantation owner ever could. Reparations are one of the most ridiculous ideas ever put forward. The idea that you can go back centuries, assign collective guilt, and redistribute money to people who were never slaves is nothing more than a political bribe disguised as justice. And history proves that reparations do not work. Germany paid reparations to Jewish Holocaust survivors, but it did not erase economic disparities overnight. Japan paid reparations to Korea for its brutal occupation, but Korea had to build its own economy through discipline and hard work. Even in the United States, we have already spent trillions on welfare programs that were supposed to lift Black people out of poverty. And what has it achieved? Dependence, fatherless homes, failing schools. If money alone was the answer, the problem would have been solved decades ago. But wealth is not just money. It is habits, culture, discipline, and values. And these cannot be given. They must be earned. If Black Americans want to succeed, they need to reject victimhood and embrace responsibility. That starts with education. The public school system, run by leftist bureaucrats and teachers' unions, is failing Black children. That is why school choice is essential. Parents should be able to take their tax dollars and send their kids to the best schools available. Charter schools, private schools, homeschooling, anything that gives them a real chance. Next is family structure. The data is undeniable. Children who grow up in two-parent households do better in every measurable way. Crime, dropout rates, drug use, everything improves when a father is present. Instead of glorifying single motherhood as empowering, we need to be honest about the fact that stable families are the foundation of success.
Yes, Darla, I'm old enough to remember how Sharpton first came to prominence. Yeah, 1989. Say her name, Tawana Brawley. Wonder where she is now. Where are we? Cammy, defunding the police cost thousands of Black lives. They were all unalived by other Blacks. Cammy said it. Black on Black crime equals proximity. Facts. I wonder how much money did MSNBC and CNN make off of reporting on the BLM movement and everything related to it. Facts. I love the history. Thank you, Roland. Yeah, oh, Jeffrey, yes. I told you I have some of Dr. Soul's books. He has receipts. Connie, we're glad you're here, dear Jesse Whitehorse. Glad that you are here. Hit that like button. Connie, Jesse, if you have Facebook, share this stream out. Thank you so much. Gloria, Roland, I'm going to clear my mind for a while. I will see you next time. Enjoy your day. You too, Gloria. Thanks for dropping in. We're glad that you came, dear. Cammie, Mr. Soul is right about the Jews getting reparations, not lifting all of them out of poverty. Some Jews in New York are on welfare. Thank you, Cammie. Okay, here we go.
And finally, Black leadership needs to change. The so-called leaders of the Black community have been running the same cities for decades: Detroit, Baltimore, Chicago, and they have done nothing but make things worse. The problem is not racism. The problem is bad leadership and a lack of accountability. The solution is not more government programs. It is not more dependency. It is not waiting for handouts or blaming history. The solution is hard work, disciplined education, and strong families. The longer Black America clings to the myth of victimhood, the further behind it will fall. The people who claim to be fighting for justice are often the ones benefiting the most from Black misery. Real empowerment comes from rejecting excuses and taking control of one's own future.
And that's what we've said, regardless of what the situation is, right? And again, we see it on the front lines in the public schools. And then the rest of you who are not in public education, you see it on the news when you watch the news. Thomas Sowell agrees that the Department of Education does not belong in government. Yeah, and they're a failure. So, Tijuana border jumper, black rednecks and white liberals, a must read for all Americans. Yes, he had that man has the receipts. How you doing, Cali State? We're glad you're here. Darla, we still have a sign from New York that was hung in a business, help wanted. Irish need not apply. Yeah. When one topic that I discuss, those of you who have been here, you know that one of the classes that I teach a food science class. Any of you who are familiar, so one of the objectives is microbiology, and students grow their own microorganisms, and we talk about history as it relates to food outbreaks. And how many of you are familiar with Typhoid Mary? All right, because we talk about, and I talk about why she was so combative and why she was unwilling to there we go. All right, why she was unwilling to listen to the authorities. And she was Irish, and when I tell them that the Irish were discriminated against, they're looking at me like, okay, this lady is nuts. They don't have a clue. And as Dr. Sowell said, every race of people at some point in time has been enslaved. Connie said it doesn't have to be this way. Exactly. Jeffrey, thank you for the super chat, love. I'm going to send you some hearts here in the comment section. All right, make sure you are subscribed, folks. Mayor, I took microbiology in college. It sure was interesting. Mayor, it's one of my very favorite objectives to teach. And so, again, when I tell them about Typhoid Mary, and she was if you don't know the story, you need to look it up. Excellent story. And she was combative. She would not stop cooking. So people just kept getting sick, and a few people passed away. And she thought they were doing it because, again, up until that point, we did not know, the medical community did not know that you could pass sicknesses, communicable diseases on to people, even though you yourself did not have symptoms. So that, of course, was a groundbreaking case. And so, again, that's in my curriculum, and that's one of my very favorite stories. You remember, Mary remembers good. All right, so I wanted to share this case with you because a lot of people are bringing this case up, right? Texas teen found not guilty of murder in stabbing death of fellow student killed during bathroom brawl. Now, obviously, working in the public schools, right? This is something that we deal with. We deal with brawls and fights. It is what it is. So all eyes. So if you hear about, how many of you, if you are familiar with this case, type it 1, please, in the comment section. So we have a lot of people watching this case. All right. Saying, wait a minute. So in this case, the perpetrator was white. Okay. Kason Allison here on the right. He stabbed and killed this Hispanic kid right here on the left. And let's see, jurors did convict Kason Allison of criminally negligent homicide, for which he faces a sentence of up to 2 years in jail. So some of you've heard about, so you may have heard about it. This case has been trending because they're like, okay, we're going to compare it and see what happens in the Karmelo Anthony case. Okay, so here we go. A teenager who fatally stabbed a fellow student during a fight at school was found not guilty of murder by a jury. Kason Allison, 21, waived his rights against self-incrimination and confessed to killing Jose Luis Ramirez Jr., 18, on May 3rd, 2022 at Belton High School, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by People. Defense attorney Zachary Bond argued in both his opening and closing statements that Allison's actions that day were all in self-defense. Okay, sound familiar? Monique, you haven't heard of this case. Okay, it's all over the internet because they're comparing it to the Carmelo Anthony case. This kid here said it was self-defense, right? All right. After he found himself being forced to fight Ramirez and a group of his friends. That argument seemed to resonate with jurors who, given the option of convicting Allison of murder, manslaughter, or criminally negligent homicide, opted for the lowest of these three charges, criminally negligent homicide. The jury deliberated 12 hours in total before returning their verdict. Allison will now be back in court on June 19th. Now, you know that it's going to, it will be, that case will definitely be trending to see what the outcome is for a sentencing hearing, according to court records, at which time he will face anywhere from 6 months to 2 years in a state jail facility, as well as a fine of up to $10,000. All right. During the trial, a recording made by one of Ramirez's friends showing the fight between the men and the stabbing was presented to jurors. Ramirez is allegedly seen throwing a punch at Allison in that recording, at which time Allison swings back at Ramirez with a knife in his hand, according to court documents. The video then ends with Allison allegedly cornering Ramirez, at which time the other teenagers all fled from the bathroom. Security cameras at the school then captured Ramirez leaving the bathroom and collapsing in the hallway, according to the arrest affidavit. The video also showed blood pooling beneath his body, per the affidavit. Despite the efforts of a school nurse who rushed to Ramirez and began administering life-saving care, the teenager was pronounced dead soon after arriving at a local hospital. An autopsy report said that Ramirez had stab wounds in his chest, back, legs, and arms. Okay, so there were several stabbings here. Police arrested Allison that same day after questioning him at his home, at which time Allison confessed to the crime and informed a detective where to find the knife he used to stab Ramirez, according to the affidavit. The Bell County Attorney's Office, who prosecuted the case, and Allison's lawyer did not respond to requests for comment. So keep your eye on that. Again, his sentencing is what, June 19th, I think? Yep. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay? Because everyone they're comparing the two cases. All right? So let me know what you think about that. I wanted to share that with you because that was trending. All right? And then let me share. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for me, please, folks. So again, we have to get out of the victimhood. And if your child does something wrong, okay, there needs to be consequences. Again, you'll get better results from their school and in life. You'll get better results. Okay, so we know Candace Owens is good for talking about victimhood. She talks about it a lot. So, and she's been saying this, of course, Larry Elder, they both said, until we get away from that, we won't be able to improve. Okay. And she talks about it frequently.
The left ate up another potential racial situation, ended up being a racial hoax, we think. This one from Georgia state lawmaker Erica Thomas. Now, after the dishonest spin fell apart when Thomas's alleged harasser, Eric Sparks, turned out to be a Cuban Democrat, doesn't like Trump or Republicans, part of the anti-Trump resistance, well, it turns out Thomas changed her story. But yesterday, Thomas changed her story back again. If you're confused, so are we.
All right. We don't need to hear what she's saying. We're just going to get to the Candace. Well, are you all familiar with this state where she backtracked on what she said, and then Candace Owen comes on with the victimhood? Because again, every time someone's caught up in their nonsense, they come back with the reason for their nonsense, and they turn themselves into Victim. Shocking. All right, Cammie, Monique. They don't know why the fight started. Okay, yeah, Cammie. Cammie, which case are you talking about, dear? All right, then I'll let you listen to her, and then Candace comes on after this talking about the victimhood.
Thomas changed her story back again. If you're confused, so are we.
I want to make sure that everyone knows that in any way am I backtracking on my statement or am I retracting on anything that I said? That's when he said and made a reference to, go back where you came from. He said it right after he said, no, I know you people. You're ignorant. After that, he kept berating me and harassing me. And that's when I said, and you can see from when the cameras will be put out from Publix, I pointed to the door. And after he said, go back, I said, you go back.
None of this should come as any surprise given Thomas's history. She once unironically called herself Jussie Smollett's hashtag biggest fan. Just over a year ago, Thomas portrayed another slight, this time reportedly at the hands of hotel employees at the pool at the Westin, and after the waitress asked the Caucasian people on both sides of me for their order and skipped over me, minutes later, the pool boy asked me for my room key. This cannot be real right now. I am a guest.
Again, she worships Jussie Smollett, and we know what he did. So, yeah, she's not credible.
Too, right? Hashtag racist. Was this true? Impossible to prove, but that's kind of the point. You see, Thomas is a member of what we call Generation G, or the grievance generation. They are the product of decades of leftist control of our schools, our entertainment industry, and they're breeding a culture of resentment and envy, basically a society of victims. And the victims, no matter what, are always right. Here now to discuss, Candace Owens, founder of the Blexit Movement, and former DNC comms director, Luis Miranda. Great to have you both here tonight. Candace, Thomas isn't completely to blame here. There's a Democrat and media complex that all too often rewards this. It is a kind of a grievance culture. I mean, Generation G, we hear about Generation Y and X, but gosh, there's a lot of grievance out there that's kind of unprovable, the underlying allegations.
Right. You know, in many ways, she is a victim of the culture. And I've said this over and over again ad nauseum, which is just that victimhood has become almost a mental plague upon Black America in particular, because that word racism is being so overused that society is becoming desensitized to it. And we actually can't even recognize it when it actually exists. We think everything is racist. Things that used to be normal conflicts between human beings, getting cut off while you're driving, having a bad correspondence in a grocery store, you should just brush it off, shrug it off, and move on with your day. Now people are crying and making videos and pleading on Facebook to say, look what I experienced today. I mean, it's sad for her, but I think it also says, as you mentioned earlier, it's something bigger that's happening in culture that needs to be addressed before it goes too far.
Luis, the individual who she accused seems like he really doesn't like Trump. He's a Democrat, he's Cuban. He's not a white man. What are your thoughts on how this all went down?
Well, he's easily the worst person in this story, and he's someone who looks at a pregnant woman in front of him and decides to insult her, and by his own admission calls her a lazy SOB. There's probably a tinge of racism there. I can't believe that he would call her a lazy SOB if he didn't have some of that. But the media certainly overplayed this. But none of that absolves the fact that the discourse in our country has coarsened way too much, that there's way too much racial tension. If he did tell her to go back and use another line, it's understandable that she may have misunderstood that based on the incredible tension that we have in the discourse that we have right now about these racist things that Donald Trump uses for political gain. So that's definitely an underlying problem. But at the end of the day, I think that the bad person in this story is really this man who, instead of seeing a pregnant woman asking help,
he was a jerk. I mean, but how many times do all of us in the course of maybe a week have something happen where someone's slighting us?
It happens, folks. And just because the person is a different nationality, a different race, that does not mean they're being racist. Some people are just idiots. Okay, Cali State. They used to say, tell an adult now, there's nothing that the school will do to bullies, so why tell? That's why these kids are taking this justice into their own hands. It's wrong on both ends. Callie, I said that with this incident, Karmelo Anthony. But now, with the anti-bullying campaign that we have they've made teachers, they made us take all these classes, do something different. How you doing? And so I don't know. Let me think about this one. So at our school, so let me watch my wording. And I've taught at 4 other school districts. They take bullying seriously. Okay. So I don't know Cali State. I can only tell you about my personal experiences. Jeffrey, they did that in Harris County. Yeah, if there's some bullying going on, we, students, when they let us know, sometimes they don't let us know. So sometimes the schools are blamed for something we didn't even know about. Yeah, Monique, yeah, Candace doesn't agree with some things that Trump's doing. They have disagreements here and there. Like on here, we don't all agree. Cali State, usually there's a suspension. It just depends on if it's escalated, if it's de-escalated. Each situation is different. But again, I not, making excuses. Sometimes, someone was having an issue we knew nothing about. Then boom, 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 they're fighting. Then they're in the principal's office, the assistant principal's office. Now they're telling us, well, this person was doing da 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 da, fill in the blank. So that's how it goes. Okay, here we go.
Someone saying something, they're cutting off, as happened to me today. Someone cutting me off. Not only cutting me off, but cutting me off with a millimeter. I got 3 kids in the car. Millimeter away from me, and then flipping me the bird. Wait, why are you flipping me the bird? I'm like, I'm flipping it. But I'm saying I could look for any.
But I ask the question: can you insult a black person? Can you insult a black person without being a racist? That's just a question.
I think the minute that he went with lazy, he was.
Why are you? Are you saying black people are lazy?
No, but that's
why does the word lazy make you think
that is a
about?
Common racist
No, it is not. I've never been called lazy my entire life. So the question is, why does the word lazy make? No. I'm asking a question. I asked you a question. You said that lazy makes you think of black people. That's what you're saying.
That is a common racist trope.
So that's within you, not within him. That is not a common racist trope towards black people.
And it's incredible that you're defending a man who looks at a pregnant woman.
I think he's a jerk. No. I think he's an absolute jerk.
I agree.
You're trying to be insulting because you're trying to move the ball because you just accidentally called black people lazy. That's what really happened.
I know what you were.
Typical racist.
Okay, it's not a racist trope. Lazy is a word that means that you're not doing all the time.
We got to stop, guys. It's getting too hot. Okay, but I think this does go to the point that we should be able to have bad days, and people should be able to make mistakes.
Right.
And I made a mistake and was really rude to her, and
that's what I tell students. I think I may have shared this with you before. Anytime I have a student that comes to me, well, this teacher is racist, and they can't deal with me. So you know what I tell if it's usually a black student. I tell them, look, go in there, sit down and shut your mouth. You're in there for a very short period of time. You won't have any problems. Learn the curriculum, sit there with your mouth closed. I said, I don't care if the teacher is the grand dragon of the KKK. You're not going to change their ideology. And again, these students, everything hurts their feelings. And if someone is a different race, oh, they're racist. As she said, sometimes people have a bad day and it has nothing to do with your race, but you happen to be there. So they may lash out at you. Cammie. That's true, Cammie. That's another. People assume that people who are overweight, obese are lazy, Cammie. So you're right. That's a common misconception, so yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead.
He admitted it. That doesn't mean he's right. Maybe he is. Maybe no one can know. But the point is, the second an allegation goes on a Facebook Live, whoever makes it, I don't care if it's a conservative or a liberal or someone in between, it's instantly picked up if it's validating a progressive worldview. That's instantly picked up. Got Eric Liu goes on TV, congressman. We had people on television, pundits weighing in. You see, this is what Trump's caused. And
we saw that when Obama was in office both times. Anyone who did not agree with his policies, and you remember, you were not allowed to say anything about Obama. Any white person who said anything about Obama was called a racist. Now, someone tell me I'm wrong. I'll continue.
I think he seemed to be saying, go back to the other aisle. So now go back to the other aisle is go back to your country, which she changed her story
much
on.
more careful with anything that goes viral. And look,
Ted Lo, sorry, I didn't say Eric Lo, Ted Lo.
A lot of the discussions that we have on this very show are a grievance culture in and of itself, just from the other perspective. So the reality is that we have a culture that is incredibly divided, that the debate is coarsened, and you either have a grievance on this side or you have it on that side. And at the end of the day, what you have to do is, I think of Dr. Martin Luther King's call to, you can't drive out darkness with darkness, you have to drive it out with light. And that's where we have to move the country forward, is that we're not attacking each other in this way, where somehow these kinds of confrontations become normal. The police confrontation that you saw earlier, unacceptable.
Well, I think, again, the lack of respect that we talked about on the angle tonight, this is not something that happened overnight. We saw what happened during the Obama years, before Obama, during Bush, during Reagan, before that, going all the way back to the late 1960s. I mean, you go back and you watch that raw footage of that police versus the protesters. They were bad actors on both sides of that, and the DNC. That was, I mean, not very long ago. That's when it all kind of began. And the disrespect cuts across many levels of our society. And it kind of ends up where people feel afraid. A lot of people I know are afraid to say anything. They don't want to share a thought because someone will take it the wrong way.
Yep.
They don't want to, they're afraid to say their opinion on anything. That's also not a good place to be. Candace, I know you've been through, also we have breaking news. Candace just gave us this news. Sorry, I forgot. You were blocked tonight. Speaking of, maybe AOC thought you disrespected her. You disrespected AOC?
Yes, I got
How do you
blocked.
dare do that? You
it's
can't
really
do
sad.
that.
Yes, I mean, I called her an intellectual coward because she says a lot of things and she throws a lot of insults, and yet she will not debate anybody. She doesn't want to debate people on the opposite side of the aisle. And I think that if you actually believe what you believe, you would be happy to sit down and have a discussion and a dialogue with somebody.
Okay, yeah, we all know about that already. But yeah, what she's saying, Cammie, you see how Hillary Clinton started that whole Obama not being born in America, and we need to check his birth certificate. They flipped it, Cammie. Exactly. Who did they put that on? Trump. Racist Hillary Clinton is the one who started the birther, but a movement. But who did they put it on? But Hillary Clinton was okay because she carried hot sauce in her pocketbook. Get out of here. Nonsense. That's all it is. Nonsense. Where are we here? Okay, if I missed your comment, I'm trying to catch them. Oh my goodness. All right, I think I got all the comments. So yeah, I just wanted to, discuss some of these issues with you. As I've been saying, Lisa, you like that one? Hey, Lisa, I better watch what I say. I don't want to if I come up missing, Hillary got me. Woo, she might be listening and watching. Darnell, how you doing, love? I wonder if that teacher had that same energy for Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't think so. Darnell, that's what we're saying. So the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and there was another case. The case in New York, I did a Daniel Penny. Of course, he was the man jumped on the train and was threatening to kill everyone, and he put him in a chokehold. The man died. I need some hot sauce for my ATM. Okay, Jeff. Yeah, so they are comparing this case to the Daniel Penny case and Kyle Rittenhouse. If she carried pig's feet, she would have won the presidency. So Darnell, and what I've said with this case, there's still so much that we don't know. Beverly, how you doing, love? Hit the like button. But I will say, I don't like how the white supremacists are making this a race issue. I don't like how the spokesperson for Karmelo Anthony's family is making this a race issue. So if we could get the race hustlers, both sides, get them out of the equation, we would be in much better shape. So I don't know how, Austin's father, he wanted nothing to do with the white supremacists. I don't know how this grifter attached himself, this parasite, attached himself to Karmelo Anthony's family. So, but what he's doing is wrong, and what the white supremacists on the other side are doing is wrong. Both families have been changed forever. So what I say is pray for both families. Do something different. Yes, I did a do something different. I did a video on Shador. I didn't do one on Shiloh. I did one on Shador because that was, trending. It was, everyone was talking about it. Did you not do something different? If you want, I will drop that link for you, because that video did very well. And please make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, I jumped on when he was finally drafted by Cleveland. I actually need to do another video on him because there's more coming out. We know that they colluded. We talked about the race hustlers were saying it was all racism. I said, and I still believe, they did not want to deal with Deion Sanders because he's a person who speaks his mind, and they probably felt he would be trying to coach his son, and they probably felt they wouldn't be able to, coach him the way they needed to. Yes, do something different. Do something different. I did one on Shador. Cammie, the man that represents the Karmelo family, said that Kyle Rittenhouse unalived Black people on that day. Oh, yeah. So the people who are agreeing with this grifter, they don't even know. The people that he shot and killed were white. So they don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, my God. Do something different. How does Shiloh have them triggered? I think it's mostly Deion is their father, because they know him well enough to know he won't take any junk. All right. So I don't know what you're trying to tell. What are you trying to tell me about Shiloh? Do something different. So that's where I am with this case. And again, I want better parenting, conflict resolution, so that we don't have many more of these situations to happen. And we tell students, I tell students almost every day, go get an adult. When you try to handle something, it doesn't end well. Okay? Do something different. Yes, they are like fish grease about Shiloh raising more money than Karmelo Anthony. Oh, you're talking about him raising money. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and let's be real clear. Deion's kids, they're already millionaires, and they've made millions of dollars in college. Okay, so they're not, when people are out here, oh, the NFL, they treated them so wrong. They are fine. They are fine. They've had millions all their life because their father's Deion Sanders, and they'll be fine. They've been well raised. Oh, you're talking about that situation. Oh, I thought you were talking about. Oh, yeah, I need to do a video on that. She's the lady that called the Black kid the N-word, and then she raised $500,000. Yeah, Connie, social media works both ways. Absolutely right. I'm just saying, as an educator, we need to hold teenagers accountable. When they do something, their parents need to say, okay, they're wrong. Okay, this is the punishment. The teen epidemic in this country, they can't take no for an answer. I was just watching yesterday. Some lady turned the internet off, the Wi-Fi off at her house. Her teenage son, he snapped and unalived her. Yeah, we need a reset. That would be good. And again, in the schools, we have people of all races and nationalities. Okay. And I see it sometimes. It's, again, there's students of different races or nationalities. And if they don't like what's going on in my classroom, they say the same thing. So, you know, what can you do? I think I had a student do that recently, and an assistant principal told that child, no, she's not picking on you. Okay. So anytime you call them on their nonsense, they have an excuse. Cali State, that's what I was saying. They sent violent kids to restorative justice classes and sent them right back into the classroom. Cali State, that's another issue. Glad you brought that up. I fought the courts for this. There's students who commit crimes. They'll put the little ankle bracelet on their ankle and tell them you go back to school or you go back to jail. They come back to school, but they're not there to learn. They are there causing problems because they don't want to be there. They were forced to come back. That's another issue. Cali State, you got it. Mayor, there'll be a great reset when Jesus Christ comes back. That's definitely a fact. So again, everything starts in the home, folks. Jeffrey, it's sad when kids get violent on their parents over the internet. It means parents don't have control. You got it. Do something different. I need to watch. Yeah, I need to check that out. Oh my goodness. I thought you were talking about Shiloh Sanders. So we got a bunch of little rebels on our hands, right? One of my favorite songs by David Bowie, R.I.P., 1974. You've got your mother in a whirl. She's not sure if you're a boy or a girl. Hey, baby, your hair's all right. Hey, baby, let's go out tonight. You like me and I like it all. We like dancing and we look divine. There we go. Rebel, rebel, you've torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Come on, Jeffrey, you don't like David Bowie? Give me a break. Come on now. You must like Candace Staten's Victim. That's one of my favorite songs ever. Mayor remembers that, 1974. Yes. No, Tijuana, I was busy. I had some contractors here at the house putting some fencing up, and I had all kinds of projects going on around here, dear. I didn't get a chance. Do something different. All they're going to do is call me Uncle Ruckus, Tom, and I just laugh. Do something different. They don't realize we're Generation Xers. We don't care that you call us names. We don't. Anthony, Roland, can you give us a warning before you do that again? Anthony, what's wrong? What was wrong with that? Anthony! That was Rebel. R.I.P. David Bowie. Fame. One of my favorite. I listened to that in my classroom. Thank you, Laurie. I listened to like the extended versions of all those songs. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Yes, Jeffrey. Players only love you when they're playing. Tijuana. You bought it when you were 15. When I started out, it was just a matter of seeing you every day. I would long for the time when you would come my way. You remember that, Tijuana Victim? Oh, yeah. Wore a smile just to greet you. Oh, wow. I became a victim of the very songs I sang. 1970, what was that, 8? Yeah, Candy Staten. Mayor, I love it. I listened to that in my classroom. It's like 9 minutes. I told you young hearts run free, but I didn't listen to myself. Oh, my God. God, I love that. Woo! Engulfed by the power of love. I just fell right in. Wasn't hardly worried about tomorrow. You were my future. Oh my God, yes. And I realized I did some research on her. You know, she's still living. She was in an abusive marriage. And so when you listen to that song, and then, you know, she had the big hit, Young Hearts, Run Free. Oh my God, I love Candace Staten. All right, so that's all I have for you folks. What's wrong with my David Bowie, Rebel, Capone? Capone, what is wrong with David Bowie? I love him. I listen to him every day. I cried when he died. Oh my God. Kami, Rollins, do you watch the Treehouse News YouTube channel? She did a good job covering the Shiloh Hendricks situation. I'll Google that. Kami, thank you. Tijuana, my advice is good for others. It's got to be good for me. Can't you see? Yes. I try to occupy my mind, keep myself busy all the time. Yes, Tijuana. The more I try to do, the more I keep thinking of you. Oh, baby. Yes. Tijuana gets it. Darling, me too. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Everybody have a great evening. We'll see you back on the next. Yes. Laurie. Yes. I have my David Bowie album over there. Yeah. Yes, Lisa. Yes. Hit that like button, folks. Yes, Tina. Yes. Kami told me, okay, Treehouse. Okay, I'll look it up. Thank you, Kami. I'll look that up. China Girl, yes, he came back strong in the 80s with that. Let's Dance, China Girl, Modern Love. I could continue. Told you I'm a huge fan. Yes, thank you, Tijuana Border Jumper. Send you some hearts as well. All right. Okay, you know where I'm going next. Okay, do something different. And do something different. This is what I tell people. And I show videos on here. That does not mean that I like everything that they say. All right, because some things I may not agree with, but I agree with what she says on victimhood. Jeffrey, you can't beat me. I got a whole. Okay, Jeffrey, we'll see about that one day. I enjoyed each of you. And share this channel out, if you will. Beverly, you two have a great evening. I don't know. I'll be live again during the week. I don't know when. We'll see what's going on. Thank you too, Lisa. I'm coming to talk to you in the comment section. And of course, I will do that as long as you are there. Thank you again for spending your very valuable time here at the Rollins Reviews YouTube channel. So I don't know if I'm going live on Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know. Just depends on what is going on this week. But I will be live. So just check. For some reason, YouTube's not showing when I'm live. So you just have to check Wednesday or Thursday more than likely, though. All right. Coming to talk to you in the comment section.